Every lore video claims Oghma Infinium grants knowledge. They miss the ink-black bleeding, screaming. The Elder Scrolls rewrite minds, not text. Julianos bound a divine shard here, never intended to be read. Open it and the shivering intended to be read aisles seep in. A scholar's mind fractures, reshaped by a god's silent, ink-drowned torment. Is a wound and... What if every page of Oghma Infinium carries the echo of a god's stolen breath? Julianos did not gift knowledge, he buried a shard of divinity, a mistake the Psijic bound with blood and ash. The Numidium's mantella, the tribunal's theft from Lorcan's heart, all fragments of the same crime. To read is to awaken what was never meant to speak. This was no mere artifact. The Apocrypha's failure left Julianos while screaming, unmoored. Oghma Infinium's pages trap that cry. Every glyph is a scar, every chapter a chain. The same technique that powered the Numidium's mantella soul fragment was used here to cage, not create. When the Nerevarine destroyed the heart of Lorcan in 3E427, they severed one tether to this prison, yet the book remains. A monument to a god's unintended imprisonment. To read it is not to learn, it is to listen. To feel the weight of a will that was never meant to be free. The book's spine hums with a resonance not of ink, but of agony. To open it is to invite a tideno, a tempest off Julianos' fractured divinity into the reader's skull. The pages do not turn, they bleed forward, each flick a chain yanked tighter around the mind. Correct use demands a singular, desperate act, to channel the text's chaos into the cold harbinger's mechanism, a ritual that might, if the stars align, unshackle the divine fragment and collapse its prison into the void. But this is a gamble played with the reader's soul as stake. Misuse, the letters twist into claws. The reader's eyes go hollow, their breath a wet rattle as Julianos will gnaws through sinew and bone. What is CHIM but a thread of hope fraying against the zero-sum void? Those who chase it with Oghma Infinium in hand often vanish, their bodies left slumped over desks, mouths agape in silent screams that echo Julianos' own. The book does not teach, it replays *. Every glyph is a scar on the fabric of reality, a loop of the god's final Momenchi's power torn from him, his essence split, half of him flung into this cursed codex. To read is to relive that violation over and over, until the reader's identity dissolves like ash in a storm. The Elder Scrolls rewrite. Oghma Infinium unmakes *. One scholar claimed to hear the book's pages whispering, not words but a asterisk name not Julianos, but the god who bound him, long erased from history. The book's true title, perhaps, or a warning. The Psijic order first clutched its pages, not to learn, but to chain a god's tongue bound in vellum. Their sanctums reeked of burnt sage, their chants fraying the air as they etched Julianos' name into every line. But the tribunal came with shadows in their throats. Azura, her hand still red from Lorcan's heart, tore the book from the Psijic's altar. The pages screamed, not in sound but in pressure, a weight that crushed the lungs of all who watched. The heart of divinity stolen. The book a key, the cycle a theft. Tiber Septim held it next, his gauntleted fingers trembling as he fed its text into the Numidium's core. The forge roared. Mantella's soul fragment, coaxed from Oblivion, twisted the machine into a sun. But knowledge is not fuel, it is hunger. The Numidium burned Tiber from within, his bones turned to ash, his empire left with a phantom king. The Dragonborn took it last, their hands bloodied from Tamriel's wars. In the white gold tower's vault, where the amulet of kings lay cold and forgotten, they read the final page. The world shuddered. A god's name, unspoken for millennia, clawed its way into the void. The Dragonborn did not close the book. They sealed it, entombing Oghma Infinium beneath the tower's foundations, its screams now muffled by stone. What did they think they were containing? A library. A weapon? No, they buried a prison its captive not Julianos but the god who bound him. Every wielder became a jailer, every thief a accomplice, and the book, it waits, waiting for the next fool to open it, to name it. To become its next vessel, 244 words. Each page binds a shattered god's anguish, a prison Julianos never meant to unlock. The shivering isles tremble not from Sheogorath's madness, but from the weight of that unchained divine fragment. To read is to invite its hunger. To name it is to become its next host. What have you done? What have you done? A book that binds a god's breath to ink, a psalm of unmaking. The Sigics and Tribunal did not capture knowledge. They caged a wound in the soul of Julianos. Every glyph is a shackle, every verse a dirge. CHIM forges mortals into vessels. Oghma Infinium twists that ritual into a tomb. To complete the binding, the scribes sacrificed their names, their faces, their right to exist. Zero-sum erasure was a mercy compared to this. The Apocrypha's pages do not grant power. They whisper a single truth: some knowledge is a parasite. It feeds on the reader, hollows their mind. The Nerevarin's hammer shattered the heart of Lorcan, thinking it a relic of tyranny. They freed a fragment of a god's agony. Now it bleeds into the book, into the Apocrypha. The Idra built their towers on the lie that order tames divinity. The Daedra know better. They laugh as Oghma Infinium's pages turn. For what is a prison if not a mirror? The Tribunal's grandest heresy was not in trapping a god. It was in believing mortals could hold a piece of one. The book's weight is not in its secrets. It is in the void it carves inside. Who dares to grasp? The cold god's name is erased from its cover, but his scream. It lingers, a hymn without an end, a curse that outlives the stars. The white gold tower holds Oghma Infinium, bound by the amulet of kings where the dragonborn left it, haunted by what they witnessed. The Sigic order turned away, fearing the weight of its silence. Shadows watch the tribunal, keepers of stolen divinity, ensuring no hand breaks the seal. Julianos' fragment writhes within, a prisoner not of knowledge but of absence. The book is no vault of wisdom but a tomb. Each page a whisper of a name erased. The cold god's hymn endures, not in knowledge but in absence, a curse etched in void. The tribunal's vigil continues, the amulet's chain holds, and the tower stands, guarding a silence louder than any scream. Oghma Infinium is no gift, it is a tomb. Julianos' fragment, bound in ink, screams without sound. The Sigic order, Vanis Galerian guardians of a fire they could not extinguish, each page a hunger, each word a rewrite. The reader becomes scribe, scribe becomes prisoner. What is inherited is not wisdom, but the weight of a god's unspoken plea. Tamriel's named objects do not wait, they demand, they remember. Every hand that lifts them carries the blood of those who came before. The book does not teach, it absorbs, and in its silence the trapped divine whispers on, forever rewritten, forever unsung. What if the amulet of kings, cradled in the white gold tower's cold embrace, unlocks Oghma Infinium's buried prison? The Nerevarin's blade shattered the heart of Lorcan in 3E427, yet its pulse lingers. Could Julianos' stolen divine spark, caged in ink and page, hunger for a crown's touch?